Mr. Classify, I have successfully made it. Excellent work. This outcome was a guarantee for the SAPs. Wait, what do you mean? Classify? Our professionals may or may not have been able to hack in and learn beforehand if you made in or not. I didn't want to ruin the surprise for you. Well, thank you, Classify. So, have we detected what the virus is? What do we plan to draft? I'm fine with whoever lasts. Not exactly. Our professionals have been having difficulties at figuring out what the virus is. HR told us a while ago that there's been a severe virus that has invaded the BBR, but what is it? Myself, along with some of the professionals, will help you throughout the drafting process this time around to see what options we can build around. I'm getting word now that you are the 7th pick of 18 coaches, so let's plan and figure out what the best possibilities for your success shall be. After looking at the draft board, I already know what I want to draft. I just hope it makes it to me. It is officially time to draft. What are you thinking? Our professionals have something built, but what do you have in mind? I'm going to build around my Terra Captain, which I'm taking in round 1. A Pokemon that I believe shall always be Terra banned is allowed to Terra, so I couldn't pass it up. So we have decided to build around Orion, the Terra Necrozma. Ooh, Terra Necrozma, good decision. I will inform the professionals and see what options they choose to pair with Terra Necrozma. But explain for everyone, what does Terra Necrozma do? I'm glad you asked. Terra Necrozma is insanely broken. Sure, it lost access to Rock Polish and Autotomize, but this Pokemon is insane. It has access to setup options like Calm Mind, Dragon Dance, and Iron Defense. It has access to Morning Sun and Moonlight for recovery options. It gets access to some utility moves like Dual Screens, Knockoff, and Stealth Rock, and it has one of the strongest moves in the game. Photon Geyser is an incredible move. Base 100 power, psychic move, and is either special or physical depending on your current attack stat, which can be used on physical and special sets, similar to Terra Blast. Terra Blast is a big move for Necrozma because now it has access to Terra Fairy Terra Blast to blow away the dark types that stop Necrozma in its tracks. And that's not all. Prism Armor with Terra is insane because if the opponent hits you for super effective damage, the damage is reduced, which can be insanely clutch in games, so I am very excited to use Terra Necrozma. So, Mr. Classify, what have the professionals decided that is an excellent pairing with Terra Necrozma? By the looks of it, I would like a Dark type to break the bulky Psychics that can switch into Necrozma. Well, then you are in luck, Sep. The professionals have decided that the best fit for Terra Necrozma is a physical Dark type with Knockoff and a base speed stat of 119. Yes, that's exactly what Wait a minute. 119 speed tier? Oh no. Oh yes, come on Sep, give it another try. Honestly, I've used it without Knockoff only. Let's see how it does with Knockoff. I'm down to use Roaring Moon again. It unironically pairs with Terra Necrozma really well. I'm going to confirm it. Why don't you do this one, Classify? Sure, I'd love to. So, Roaring Moon is very versatile. It has an elite speed tier of 119. It is a very strong physical breaker to pair alongside Terra Necrozma. It also has access to Dragon Dance to potentially win the game. It has access to U-Turn for momentum, Roost for recovery, and as stated before, Knockoff, which can be used as a very strong weapon. Roaring Moon usually likes to run Choice Band, Choice Scarf, Booster Attack, Booster Speed, and potentially Assault Vest due to its insane bulk in 105 HP and 101 SPDF. Scale Shot with loaded dice can pair very nicely and boost our speed in the process. Tailwind could also be used as a last-ditch effort if we need to boost our team's speed before Roaring Moon goes down. Roaring Moon gets access to Iron Head and Earthquake for the opposing fairies and steals he does not appreciate. Overall, this mod has tons of potential, and I can't wait to see how it does on this team. Thank you. Now, I know I need a Steel type, and I've chosen a Pokemon that can take on Moonblasts all day and go for flip turns in the process. That's right. We got the only Steel type in existence with Flip Turn, Aquarius the Empoleon. Empoleon got a few buffs this generation, and they were good. It got access to Roost for recovery, And as I stated before, Flip Turn for slow momentum, which is going to be clutch this season for our team. Empoleon gets some utility moves like Knock Off, Haze, Roar, and Stealth Rock. Unfortunately, it lost Scald, so we have to deal with Surf, but another buff Empoleon got this gen is competitive, which if our stats get lowered, we get a +2 special attack boost and punish opponents trying to remove our rocks with Defog. Empoleon is a specially defensive sponge, and I hope to bring it to games. When I've had Empoleon in the past, I've never brought to many games, so I'm hoping to use Empoleon with great success this season. What's that? We had Empoleon already planned? Alrighty, draft looks like it's going smoothly, hopefully no snipes. So, what shall we draft for round 4? Well, originally I had Galarian Weezing planned, but after looking at the people ahead of me, everyone had the poison type, so I assume Weezing doesn't get sniped. So we have Roaring Moon as a physical breaker, now let's get a special breaker, and I got just the mon, Ursa Blood Moon. I've never used this Pokemon, and I believe it can be very good on our team. Ursa Major, the Ursa Blood Moon, is a fantastic special breaker, has access to Earth Power and Hyper Voice for reliable stabs, and has access to a nuke. Its signature move, Blood Moon, a 140 base power, special normal type move that has 0 switch-ins. You may be like, but can't you just swap in a ghost? That's where you're wrong. Ursaluna's ability is Mind's Eye, which is basically the ability Scrappy, which will ignore the immunity and hit you with normal and fighting type moves. But why is fighting important? Well, my friends, Ursaluna gets access to Vacuum Wave, a strong priority option. This thing could be a lead and just break the team. This thing could be an endgame Calm Mind win con. This mon gets access to Moonlight for recovery and has tons of amazing utility moves like Yawn, Roar, and Taunt. This Pokemon is going to be amazing for our team, and I cannot wait to use it for the first time. So, we have Triple Moon Sep. I find that to be awesome, because it goes with our nickname theme, Constellations. So, did you manage to get Galarian Weezing? Why don't you answer that question for us, Classify? Okay, sure. So we indeed managed to get Galarian Weezing as our next pick. Weezing has tons of utility options, like Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, and Pain Split for recovery. It has access to a Memento to potentially sacrifice itself and bring in a scary threat like Necrozma or Roaring Moon. Weezing also has Haze and Clear Smog to prevent setup, and the main reason, it has Defog. That's right, Weezing has Defog and can remove all hazards on the field, which will be super useful. Weezing also has good attacking moves like Strange Steam, Sludge Bomb, Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower. This is our premier Phys-Def destructive things. It can be a very useful mon paired with Empoleon because it covers Empoleon's weaknesses to fighting and ground thanks to Levitate. Ursaluna could also be used as a Phys-Def destructive things if we absolutely need it, but most of the time it's going to be Weezing. So Sep, the team looks strong so far. However, we are lacking some speed. You have any idea on how we can fix that? I got an idea. Allow me to introduce to the team one of my favorite Pokemon to use in Draft League, Hercules, the Infernape. Infernape has so many ways to set up. Nasty Plot and Calm Mind on the special side, Swords Dance and Bulk Up on the physical side, and it can boost its speed with agility and flame charge. It has a good speed tier in 108 and can be a very good Choice Scarfer with access to U-turn and being able to outspeed and pivot out. Choice Band and Choice Spec sets can be deadly if Infernape can afford them. Life Orb is one of Infernape's best items. Infernape has good utility moves in Knock Off, Encore, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Switcheroo, and even Stealth Rocks. Infernape has good priority in Vacuum Wave, Mach Punch, and Fake Out. Infernape also has access to the Iron Fist ability, which boosts all of its punching moves like Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Mach Punch, and Drain Punch. Infernape also gets access to Slack Off as a recovery option if we need it. This Pokemon is one of my favorite mons to use in Draft League. People say its power is lackluster. However, I absolutely adore using Infernape and I can't wait to use it here. I'm thinking we will go with Raikou and Gyarados next, since we struggle versus bulky waters and Raikou gives us screens, and Gyarados can be a defensive flying type, which I like. Hey, I got a better idea, Sep. How about Funny T? You need some more speed, and 101 isn't bad. and it covers all 3 of Empoleon's weaknesses: ground, fighting, and electric. I have a partner in mind for Thundy T that can set screens. I'm down. Let's add Virgo, the Thundy T. Take it away, Classify. Thundy T is our second special breaker. As Seth mentioned before, we struggled versus bulky waters, and Thundy can just break those with Discharge, Volt Switch, or Thunderbolt, or we can U-turn out as we predict a switch from the opponent. Thundurus has tons of coverage in Grass Knot, Psychic, Sludge Wave, Dark Pulse, and Flash Cannon. It gets good setup options with Agility, Bulk Up, Nasty Plot, and it can actually use Bulk Up well because it has access to Acrobatics for Flying Stab. Thundy gets utility like Knockoff, Taunt, Foul Play, and Electro Web to lower their speed, and Eerie Impulse to lower their special attack. Thundy's base 145 special attack is insane and pairs well with Inferno, who can't really hit bulky waters outside of Thunder Punch and Grass Knot. We're very excited to have Thundy on this team. Now, the mon I had in mind for a partner for Thundurus is a pretty good low tier that can assist us. It gets access to Prankster and dual screens. Please welcome Andromeda, the Sableye. Sableye is very useful due to Prankster with dual screens, and the opponent cannot remove them with Brick Break or Psychic Fangs because Sableye is immune to both. Sableye gets access to Knockoff, Recover, Trick, Thunder Wave, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Encore, and Disable. Sableye honestly is just very annoying for our opponents. However, Prankster moves do not work on dark types, so we have to watch out for those. It also gets access to Foul Play and Nightshade. Since Sableye isn't the strongest Pokemon, having a move with fixed damage is very nice. Dual screens are very important because I can just win the game, get up dual screens, and then win with either Dragon Dance or Calm Mind Necrozma. Dragon Dance Roaring Moon, Calm Mind Ursa Luna, Swords Dance or Nasty Plot Infernape, or Nasty Plot and Agility Thundurus Therian can win the game depending on the matchup, so Sableye fits our team so well. According to my team over at the Saps, our best bet now would be to acquire some hazards. Our Stealth Rockers are Necrozma, Empoleon, and Infernape, and we have 0 Spikers, and we have Weezing with Toxic Spikes. So we decided to snag Scorpius, the Spidops. Our opponents cannot run Mono Boots very easily at all, because as you notice, including our next pick that also has this move, we have 8 total knockoff users. Necrozma, Roaring Moon, Empoleon, Infernape, Thundy T, Sableye, Spidops, and our upcoming pick. Spidops can set hazards and eat up hits and give us slow momentum with U-turn. Spidops gets access to Sticky Web, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes, which is great. Spidops gets priority options in Sucker Punch and First Impression. It can phase out our opponents with Circle Throw, and it has access to Pain Split for recovery, and Memento to, once again, bring in a scary threat like Necrozma or Moon, and win the game. Unironically, Spidops is a very good glue piece on this team, which is why we had to grab it in round 9. Thank you, Classify. I'll take the last 2 from here. So, I wanted another physical breaker. All we had was Roaring Moon. So we decided to snag Lynx the Zangoose. Zangoose is an insane breaker with Toxic Boost Toxic Orb with Facade, Knockoff, and Close Combat for the Ghosts and Steels that want to stop our Facades. Zangoose gets access to Swords Dance and Belly Drum for setup options. It also has access to Agility, so we can run Adam and Zangoose if we wanted to and just break. Zangoose does get momentum in Baton Pass, and also has access to Thunder Wave if we need to run defensive. And also learns Body Slam if I don't want to run Facade, and has a 30% chance of paralysis. Overall, Zangoose was the only physical breaker left that I could afford, and it fits our speed tiers perfectly. 101 to 90 to 79 is perfect. And last but not least, we have our final Pokemon. Now, I wanted an offensive water, and I saw this thing fit perfectly on the team. Similar speed tier with Zangoose, but it didn't matter after I saw this thing's move pool and the calcs. Please welcome Dorado the Bruxish. So, Bruxish is actually legit, with access to Wave Crash. It also has access to Psychic Fangs, Crunch, Ice Fang, and Poison Fang with Strong Jaw. It gets access to Swords Dance, Bulk Up, and Agility for setup options. Bruxish also gets access to Flip Turn to keep up the momentum if we need it. And Bruxish gets some cool options like Trick Room, Reflect, and Light Screen once again. This team really enjoys having screens for our big threats to sub comfortably and win games. So, What do y'all think? What do you think, Classify? I really enjoy this team. It seems very strong and can do tons of work. Let's have an amazing season for the BBR-D League.